I suppose you're wondering what's so special about this. Why do we need a specific lesson? You might have some suspicion about a quadratic that you're having to solve, that there's a factor on the coefficients that you could take out. You would be right in the top case. It's obviously 2. But the difference here, now I've done a video on factorizing the quadratics where they have a common factor. It's best to take it out, make it easier to factorize, but you have to keep it because it's got to remain the same question. The difference here is that you have to solve it, therefore it's equal to 0, and anything you divide by disappears. Okay, this 0 at the end here means that it's going to disappear. So you decide your strategy, and in the first one, our strategy is divide by 2, and you enact it, and everything's great. And I'll just show you in full. So we take x squared for the first one, plus 10x, plus 21 equals 0. Just show you this, 0 divided by 2, well, that's still 0. So you can see you get more flexibility. We go on, factorize that, and we're looking at probably 7 and 3. And don't forget that equals 0 is it's an invitation to solve. So x equals -7 and x equals -3. And I'm a big fan of putting my answer in boxes, especially in multi-part questions, where you have to go back to some information. The second one just displays or shows how it's not always a division. It could be a multiplication. So we're going to multiply by 2 here because we don't want that fraction there. So we don't really know what to do with it. In a lot of the cases, we're just trying to put it into a format that we're used to seeing. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if we do multiply by 2, we've got p squared, subtract 18p, subtract 144. And that's going to be equal to 0. And now we just decide how to factorize this thing. Now, I think I've probably given myself a bit of a challenge with these numbers, racking through some factors here. I'm thinking probably more about 6. I'm going to try 6 slots. Yeah, 24. So let's put that in brackets. I'm going to go with 6 and 24. And to get to that, we're plus 6, subtract 24. And our roots. Actually, you might want to write 6 instead of 7. Or p equals 24. Excuse me while I draw a box around. And lastly, you may be looking at very strange decimals instead of whole numbers or fractions, but same strategy. We're going to multiply, because technically a fraction there is indicating 1/10. So multiply by 10, and we get something that's just hopefully nicer to work with. But the previous numbers weren't as nice as I'd like. Okay, again, a bit of a pain, but if we have a little think about it, we've got, I should probably rehearse these videos. 12 and 5, there we go. So C, and we'll put plus 12 in here and subtract 5 here. And then we've got solutions of -12, don't forget the 1. And I write or, but you could write and, I suppose. Depends. Sometimes it's not and, because both of the solutions might not be valid. If you're talking general factorization, you can have negative. If this was an answer to, say, a length or an area, a negative wouldn't make sense. So I guess or would make more sense. And look what I forgot. Anyone spot that? Okay, let's end the video. Nice and short.